Hello, my name is Kevin, and welcome back to the Love Decanters channel. And and welcome back to part 2 of Irish Glass Bits and Bobs. And it is bits and bobs. I didn't shoot off with some of my best stuff yesterday. I think the best stuff is going to be today. I thought it was all going to be yesterday, but then I suddenly realised how long is this taking, and maybe I should need to wrap up. Take a rest, etc., and start making a film into gluing it together and making it into a film. Anyway, with that said, I'm going to get on and carry on from where I left off yesterday, showing you bits of glass and book references to go with them. So, called the video Bits and Bobs because that's exactly what these are. They're just, I'm not even sure what kind of bowls these are. I don't think they're salt boats. They're too big. They hold about twice as much as any other salt boat I've got. Pin dishes or for little nuts or something on the table. They're not in any reference books because, well, look at them. They're just little tiny dishes and nobody cares much about them. But yeah, these came off eBay from Cork. And yeah, you know this pattern here, this wheat husk, and that's, so I bought them both from the same seller. I got them for £3 each. So yeah, I saw this one with the wheat husk and I thought, yeah, that looks like it's local. And yeah, probably £3 because it's got a chip. It's probably, you know, I think it's post 1810. This cutting feels fairly substantial, so I think it's steam powered cutting. If it is cork, I think they put steam power into cork in 1809. If that's any help. You can see a bit of wear where it actually touches the table. On the points where it touches the table, you can see it's got wear, so they're not new by any means. Yeah, they're just, and it just helps you. You see that pattern again. It's coming from cork. It's obviously old. It just helps you establishes this as a Irish pattern. But I said I don't know what these bowls are really for. They're just too big and too small, and I don't have a reference for them. I don't even have an English reference for them. All I know is that the Irish seem to like their boat-shaped bowls, so yeah, that seems to fit well. So I have here 3 pedestal salt boats, and I have a pile of these, but these are the 3 that I've bought off eBay from Ireland. The middle one is uranium glass. You can actually see it trying to glow in my bright lights here. Even though it's bright, there's enough light to make it try and push back, and you can see a little bit of green coming through this khaki, this sort of amber colour. So yeah, that is actually uranium glass, and this features in my early uranium glass video. This one is very similar to it as well. They kind of like have a, so I got this one from Ireland, and they have a similar shape to them. This one's got 3 bands, and I think this one's only got 2 bands cut in it. So yeah, so this is just like a moulded bowl, pressed. And they probably literally just plonked the glass into a mould and pressed it out. It's not blown into that, I don't think. And then the same with the base, and then plonked the 2 together. And they're both lemon squeeze bases. See that one too. And then this one came from Ireland as well. Yeah, lemon squeeze base is slightly different inside than that. It's got a little stage, little it's got Yeah, it's got a little staging area for the, and then the lemon squeeze is in the middle of that, whereas these go straight into the lemon squeeze. Yeah, it's all those little details that count. You never know. There you can see this one's more clearly. You can see it goes straight into the lemon squeeze, and then this one has like a shelf, and then the lemon squeeze in the middle of that. Don't know if that's got a different name, but anyway, what's quite interesting about this, it's got that crisscross pattern that I was showing you in the first video on some of the things I was showing you there. Yeah, so that's kind of a band of crisscrosses like that. It's quite distinctive. But this one is, look at the softness in the cutting on this. This is probably, well, it's going to be pre-1810, maybe pre-1800, because this is the kind of cutting you get from a foot treadle powered cutting wheel, where they don't want to cut deeply because it's just difficult. So all the cutting is very shallow and soft. This is actually, they've not even bothered to polish the base. I think they've polished the edges here. In fact, nope, they haven't. I'm just looking at it in the light, and yeah, this is all natural finish. The bottom, that's just where it's pressed into the mold. There is no polishing or cutting on the base at all. So yeah, so this tells me this is an earlier piece, whereas these, you can see they've actually polished the facets. This looks like it's a bit more cut, although the bowl is press molded with a cut band around it. But yeah, there's more effort put in this than, even though this is cut, this base is completely uncut, and this cutting that's here is very shallow. So yeah, those are the salt boats that I'm more happy that I come from Ireland. I've got loads of them. Others might be from Ireland. I don't know. They might all be from Ireland, because all the reference books that I have that show pedestal soap boats all say they're Irish. But yeah, I don't believe that, because like here, I've got one on my desk here. Where has it gone? Where's it gone? Look at this one. So this is one I bought here. It's a stonker. This is a pattern you see on a lot of English glasses. This is not. This is flat diamonds. Yeah, you see this pattern on English glass, so I couldn't pull this away and say, yeah, this is Irish. Yeah, this one feels different than this one. This one feels earlier than these two. Anyway, that's these, and I'll show you some references. So this is Irish Glass by Dudley Westropp, and you've got this one here, which is very plain. Yeah. And then you've got this one here, which is more like the other one that I've got with the rounded soft top. It's not quite, it's not the same, but it has a sort of feel to it. He says there, probably Waterford, probably early 19th century or late 18th century, but yeah, it's difficult to tell. So yeah, but yeah, you can see there's a couple in here, and as I said, every reference I've got for these pedestal salt boats always list them as Irish glass, but I don't think they all are. There's just too many. So this is Irish Glass by Phelps Warren, and yeah, these are again very different from what I was just showing you, but this one here, this one looks like it's foot treadle cut. The base looks like it's completely unpolished, like the one that we were looking at there, the second one, or the last one I should say, and he's saying late 18th century. So yeah, that's why I'm kind of like leaning that way on that one. It just has that feel of being, you know, no steam powered cutting, and as little sort of like polishing as possible. The book I'm showing you here is Old Irish Glass, the Walter Harding collection. Yeah, this is a self-published book, I think. It's from 1925. There are a lot of mistakes in it, but yeah, this one here is a bit more like the ribbed ones that I was showing you. It's difficult because there's not many, and this one's different again. That's even an odd shape. Difficult to tell really because there are a lot of mistakes in this book, but yeah, so it's difficult to find references for salt boats. So I've got here a lovely little turnover bowl. It's tiny. Look at my hand coming in. Yeah, have just seen these described as master salts, but yeah, even then it's like a cup full of salt. That seems a bit big for that designation. You can see the wear on the base there. There is, to my eyes anyway, there is a condition issue with this. I bought this from Christie's in the 90s. Yeah, I'm not that old. Anyway, the thing that's wrong with it is, if you look at this, this is all natural finish here, and then when you look at the size of the base, it's highly polished, and it's got a bevel there, got there. Only one corner's got a tiny chip. Yeah, so this is something that's purporting to be 200 years old. I would expect there to be more condition issues with this bottom edge. It's too nice, so I think probably this base was a little bit bigger. Someone's repolished it, put a beveled edge on it to keep it safe. You can see some dirt in the glass just here. I don't know if you can see that. Can you make it out? Black spots. Yeah, that doesn't come off. So yeah, this is a classic Irish with the cutting running around the turnover. I'll show you something. I don't think I've got anything that's exactly like this. Usually the things that they show in the reference books are much bigger. This is, yeah, too insignificant. But anyway, I'll show you something. This book is Old Irish Glass, the Walter Hardy collection. And yeah, the way the bowl was cut is like this. Not as big, because this is a much bigger item, but you can see it's got that scale type pattern, and then the bowl itself was like this one. So the dates he's got on this is like, I think he's got 1795 on this, yeah, and he's got a ridiculous date of 1770 on this, which is not right, because it would be post 1783. So but anyway, this is Irish Glass, and I said this is a lovely book because it's got lots of different examples in it, but you have to look at the examples in the light of what you know from the books that are, how can I put this, more academic. Yeah. So but yeah, it does have lots of useful pieces in there that because it's from a collection. And whilst I'm looking in the Walter Hardy book, yeah, someone I know recently purchased a decanter like this off eBay. Here we go. Look at these. So these things are still appearing. They're not, you know, and the people selling it had no idea. It wasn't the cheapest in the world. Otherwise, I'd have been fighting for it. But I think the person buying it still got a great bargain. And I'm not going to bother looking at the reference in here because I know that the references are so good. But yeah, the fact that it's in this Irish Glass book tells you. I said I suspected it was Irish, and it probably is. So just so you don't think everything in my collection looks like it came out of a cardboard box in the back of the shop. So I know I'm a cheapskate, but anyway, I have these two lovely urns, and yeah, these are a form that was very, I mean, they made this kind of thing in England, but I bought these ones specifically because Yeah, look at the nice star cut. Stars like this are very common on Irish, not very common, but it's a motif that they use. And in fact, if you look at the way this one is, and then if I bring something back, dun, 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 yeah, it's almost like it's cut by the same hand. So yeah, but yeah, stars and arches, especially stars in arches, are very common. The ones in the Irish books I've got these little fluting cuts around the edges and little dibbles around the top of this one. You can see it's got little cuts there, but this is all moulded, and the top is cut. And then, yeah, and this one is it's not a lemon squeeze base, but it's basically a pressed base. Look at that wear. And yeah, and look at those chips. You know, that's what I expect to see. How I expect to see the corners of these things to look all chipped to buggery. Because, yeah, if it's going to be 200 years old, it needs to look 200 years old. This is a different case. So this is an early one. This might be pre-1800. This one's definitely post. Just got all this cutting up here. And then, yeah, and this kind of shape you see here, this appears on a lot of this type of wear that's in the Irish books. And again, it's got the fluting around the top, as well as the notches around the rim of the thing. And then it's just got a normal base with little panels cut out of it. Yeah, look at the wear again. Just like a solid mass running all the way around, because this is a big weighty piece. So yeah, they're really nice. So let's run away and look at some reference books. So this book is called Old Irish Glass by Mrs. Graydon-Stannus, and yeah, so I'm showing you the urns. So the body of my urn, or my bigger urn, is a bit like this one here. You see with the fluting, the notches. You see this one is shaped more like the other one that I had, with the fluting and the notches. Yeah, there's a bit of a story between this book and the previous book. And again, look at the dates on here. These dates are probably way too early. This lady had a glass factory called Stan Gray, made a lot of nice glass, and she was also an antique glass dealer, and she was also making some of the glass that she was selling as antique, or how can I say, improving some of the glass that she was then selling as antique as well. So yeah, and she was actually selling it to Walter Harding, who's the other book. It was a big scandal, but anyway, that's another story. That may be a story for a whole video. But anyway, these look very Irish. I just wanted to use a different book with something that's not in the museums. So here we go. So I've got two very different items here, but they have a similarity, and it's this frieze that's running around them. And it's got this little starburst in it. Can you see? Get it into focus. There's slight difference on the frieze. This one's got dots. This one's got little zigzags on it. Yeah, this is nice. It's got the fluting that you normally. This is the kind of fluting you'd see on decanters. It's kind of very flat and soft, which makes me think, you know, pre-steam powered cutting. It's got a small cut pontil mark, and in actual fact you can see the remains of the broken pontil in the middle of it. But the fact that they didn't polish the whole bottom, just this little patch in the middle, and even then didn't go that deeply. Yeah, that just makes you feel like, and this is a rinser. Yeah, can you see the thing there? It's actually used for cleaning your glasses between drinks. You put your glass like that, there, fill it with water, and twizzle it around like that. There you go, you can just leave your glass like that. So yeah, that's what that is. I'm sure it's a surefire way to get your glasses broken, but yeah, that's what it is. People don't do that anymore. Haven't done for a long time. So I've got a pamphlet here called Irish Glass by Mary Boydell. This is I think a reasonably trustworthy source. She's a very known historian of Irish glass. She's died now, but that's beside the point. And I didn't realise before I was showing you the rinse of it was going to be here in the booklet like this. I forgot that. But you can see these glasses have the same, well, the rinser does, and the glasses have the same frieze with the star and the little bits running around the edges. This one's a bit different. I think this one might be like the glass more. Not certain from that picture. But anyway, the other thing, just on the next page, just so you can see, this glass is the same shape as the one that I was just showing you. So yeah, that shape of glass was made in Ireland too. And yeah, this is the classic Bessica and diamond pattern that you see. And I think this is the same pattern as that was on the first glass that I showed in part 1. I thought while I was showing you a rinser, I would show you this one, because you can see it's got a band of fine hobnails like little diamonds. It's got the diagonal blazes that I was showing you in part 1. It's got some stars, flute cutting like the other rinser I was showing you. But yeah, this is a total faker. Well, it's a reproduction, and I'll show you why it's kind of so obvious when you turn it over. I can't see if I can get it to focus. There is virtually no wear on that base at all. You know, the glass is, I mean, that's a bit of stickiness from where the price sticker that was on it when I bought it. But there's just isn't any usage in it at all. This is a modern piece. Ireland started making glass again after 1850, and I don't know who made this one. It might be Waterford, it might be Tyrone or Galway or one of these other makers. I can't remember all their names, but there were several of them. And yeah, and they were doing reproductions of earlier designs. So you need to watch out for this kind of thing. It is out there. It does look like some of the stuff that I've been showing you, but you just need to keep your eyes open and look at how bright the glass is. You know, when you look at the bottom of the other stuff, it's just grey. When you look at it sideways like this is just, look how bright that is. The refractive index is really high. The base has got no wear, no surface wear on the thing either. So yeah, I didn't pay. I just bought this as a little glass bowl from somewhere. I can't remember where, but just as it's a rinser that I don't have, and I thought, yeah, I'll get that one. But anyway, just for your awareness. I've shown you these before. Yeah, this one is more Irish than this one, I think, if you can class it like that. Yeah, it's got the intense cut base that you saw on some of the glasses that I was showing you in part 1. And also, this one is very similar to one that's in the reference books that's straight out of the museum in Dublin. This one is a bit less similar, but it does have a fairly intensely cut base. And yeah, there's two in the pictures from the ones from Dublin Museum, and one of them has got like bands of clear and cut like this, but not the same cutting. Yeah. Also, you've got the hobnails with a little bit of band of step cutting at the top. You've got a little bit of step cutting, and then you've got diagonal blazes here. There's so many features on them that are kind of like the Irish ones. And the other thing is that they've got this shape in the Irish glass books, but I'm not seeing it anywhere else. So if someone else can pop up and go, look, here are some English ones, then yeah, but nobody is. So I've got to go with, I think these are Irish. So, and I didn't pay, I should tell you, I didn't pay very much. I think I paid £3 plus postage for this one, which is ridiculous. I didn't pay much more for that one, but yeah, you just need to keep your eyes open. So these are the two perfume bottles I was talking about. They're all. This is the Irish Glass Phelps Warren book, but they're also in the Dudley Westropp book. You can see one of mine is very like this, but you can see the one that's very like this doesn't have these hobnails on, but the one that's a bit less like this does have hobnails on, and it also has a bit of pillar cutting, and the pillars have, on mine you've got a clear pillar and a one with little vertical cuts, and this one has got little cut hobnails. So yeah, there's a bit of swings and roundabouts between the two that I've got and these two here, in that there's similarities and dissimilarities, but yeah, it does, there's enough similarities to make me think that this is the sort of background of them, that they are Irish. And the dates he's got on here, 1820, 1830, National Museum of Ireland. So so there you go for those little scent bottles. So I'm going to show you three last pieces, and yeah, I'm not going to bother with reference books for these, so I'm just going to show you some things of why and maybe why not. Now this one has got the classic wheat husk pattern. It's fairly shallow cut. The base is like the base in this pedestal salt in the Walter Harding collection. However, I know these bases were used on a continent as well as this pattern. It's not a normal base for the UK. This is lead crystal, so maybe it is, maybe it isn't, I don't know. So there's that one, and there's this one which I didn't dust before putting it out. There we go, go with my finger, there we go. Yeah, this one might be little things with stars in, swags and vesicas with stars in, and the little drapes in between. This is a very kind of Irish feature. We already saw one glass with a boulder shape, but in actual fact, I think there's in one of the other reference books, there's a glass exactly like this shape with the thing, with the ball knop in the middle and everything. So this one stands a decent chance. I didn't buy it as Irish, I just bought it as a bargain because it's got folded foot, but yeah, maybe. I bought this one, I think this one is more likely. Again, it's got swags with cross hatching in, very kind of Irish feature, and then these little triple sprigs. So I have three very Irish decanters with triple sprigs. They're all, I think they're all potentially, one of them's definitely a Belfast one, one of them might be a Belfast one, and it makes me think because the other one's got meanders and swigs as well. I think this might be a Belfast thing. I don't know. You're just speculating on based on what you see on the others. But yeah, until I saw this, I only got one other piece with this triple sprigs that's not an Irish decanter, and I bought this specifically because I've got three Irish decanters with this pattern on. It's not a common thing. So yeah, it's difficult, but and date-wise, I would say that's 1800, about then. These two, this is probably the earliest one, maybe 1880s, 1890s. This one's probably close to 1800 as well. This folded foot and lack of any kind of cutting. So anyway, there we go. I think I'm going to end this saga now before my throat completely gives out. So if I was to dig around, go down the shed, have a potter around in the boxes, I'm sure I could find some more bits and pieces. But I think that's enough. I think you're getting the idea of, you know, what are the themes going on in Irish glass, what books to look out for. I will do a review of the books that I've got, and I'll probably do a little video on that Lady Graydon-Stannus and Walter Harding thing. I might do that as a show you those books and tell you a bit more of the story that goes behind that. And so with that said, I will put the references in the description below, and yeah, and remember to like and subscribe, and yeah, comment if you want, and yeah, thank you very much, and thank you for watching. Good night.